At independence in 1960, Nigeria was a nation of the same British colonial governance experience. The new nation was, however, not uniform on the part of its regions to that British governance experience. In effect, the three regions of the East, West, and North had different cultural and historical outlooks, which made them suspicious neighbors. They also had a differing expectation from their Nigerian nation, and this influenced their reasons for engaging in the nation's political process. In this situation of mutual suspicion and differing expectations, conflicts became a natural outcome of political contests. This was the objective condition that warranted the entry of the military into Nigerian politics in 1966, which rather than resolve the mutual suspicion worsened matters. The disparate interests became more pronounced and the irreconcilable interest brought the nation on its knees with a 30-month-long civil war. With its entry into political leadership and a 30-month civil war, the military put on a toga of national salvation and created reason to want to perpetuate itself in political leadership. To allow the quarrelsome politicians to return to power was to return the nation to an unending political feud and retard its progress, the military insisted. This was the situation from 1985 to 1993, when the military could not accept to exit from political power. In this period, usurper military president General Ibrahim Babangida made promise after promise to return Nigeria to democratic governance. He reneged in each promise. In fact, it seemed like the military was determined to reshape Nigerian politics in a way that it produced the national political leadership perpetually. Every mobster makes a mistake that brings him before the judge. Babangida made the mistake of organizing elections in yet another pretended move to return the country to democratic governance. He formed two political parties, the National Republican Convention (NRC), whose ideology was conservative and capitalist, and the Social Democratic Party (SDP), with leaning to the left. Under these two political parties, elections were conducted into almost all tiers of government: local government, state assemblies, governorship, and national assembly. Many believed that indeed the military was about to keep its word and reclaim its honor. Unfortunately, the biggest political prize, the presidential election, which could produce a symbol of control and return to full democracy, was aborted by the same military. That election, which was conducted by the National Electoral Commission (NECO) under the leadership of Professor Humphrey, became the underbelly of a recalcitrant Nigerian military. First, Professor Humphrey Wonsu introduced the Option A4 election model, by which the voters queued behind candidates of their choice, eliminating any contention about the figure scored by each candidate. It also addressed the challenge of vote buying. Both the contestant and the military could not find reason to query the outcome of the election. Yet, while the results, which were already public knowledge, were being announced, the military aborted it, giving all manner of excuses which the military itself did not believe.
Undoubtedly, credible, free and fair elections were held on June 12, 1993. However, the tragic irony of history remains that the administration that devised a near-perfect electoral system and conducted those near-perfect elections could not complete the process. That accident of history is most regrettable. As the leader of the military administration, I accept full responsibility for all decisions taken under my watch.
Chief Moshood Abiola, whose victory at the election has been even accepted by his opponent, was beside himself. After almost a year of fruitless pleading, cajoling, and negotiation with the military leadership, Abiola, in what is now known as an Epetedo declaration, announced himself as duly elected president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Nigeria, and asked Nigerians to rise against a usurper military.
No one has accused me of any offense against any non-electoral law or regulation. The people of this country went to polls on Saturday, June 12, 1993, and without let or hindrance chose me as their president. Didn't they? They did.
He was arrested, detained, and died in detention under circumstances which the Nigerian establishment has remained timid and unwilling to confront and disclose. The confusion that followed Abiola's arrest and detention brought Nigerians to the brink. It was only resolved by the equally unexplained sudden death of General Sani Abacha, who had seized power after General Babangida stepped aside. Babangida had created a contraption called Interim National Government, which many termed a stopgap measure, waiting for his return in civilian clothes. He never did, because at the death of Abacha, General Abdulsalami Abubakar handed power to a democratically elected government. In 2018, General Muhammadu Buhari, who became an elected president, admitted that indeed Abiola won the June 12, 1993 presidential election, and in his honor and to keep issues around the June 12 election and the mistake of his annulment, declared the day June 12 Nigeria's Democracy Day and a national holiday.